It's going to blow your mind. Here's the first one. Are you ready for it? All right. The court has held that it is okay for the prosecutor to violate the constitutional rights of the defendant and is immune from prosecution for doing so.
Keep in mind, these courts are operating within a commercial jurisdiction, maritime, military tribunal. It's a hodgepodge of jurisdictions. So don't think that it's just one. And if anybody's telling you that it's just one, they're either mistaken or they're intentionally trying to mislead you. The statutory jurisdictions, it's a hodgepodge jurisdiction. This is how they're able to, you can switch it up and take it to, the Constitution, the organic Constitution, and they'll weasel their way out of it. You know what I'm saying? Through common law, what have you, they'll weasel their way out of that. And then you can say, okay, well, we're going to go to contractual, contract law, you know what I'm saying? And they'll figure out a way to weasel themselves out of that because within their jurisdiction, they have the ability to read the law and draw their own conclusion as to how they are to understand and then interpret the law in their jurisdiction. All right. Under the common law or the law of equity or, the organic Constitution, you have to go according to the letter of the law. In their jurisdiction, they go off of the person who's reading it, their interpretation of the law. So in a sense, they are not breaking the law. They are just simply interpreting it in a way to whereas is best for them, or best suits their agenda. And their jurisdiction allows that. All right. And this is why in CPLR, it clearly states that when the prosecution or when the person who's bringing the charge or the claim against the person into the court, the quote unquote defendant, it is their obligation to then challenge the jurisdiction in the sense that make it articulate that make it clear that the jurisdiction that has been chosen is an improper jurisdiction, and also the venue, the location, the place. All right, because traditionally the redcoats, they would come into America and essentially kidnap, they would charge and then kidnap people from America, not the United States, from America, put them on ships, send them back to England, and then they will be prosecuted in England and then sentenced, do their time, and then when they were released into England, and then they had to figure out a way to get back to America. All right, so that's the venue. The venue is the location. What they've done is they have taken the physical jurisdiction as far as taking people, putting them on ships and stuff like that and sending them over to England. They have stopped doing that. And what they've done is they've offered judges, attorneys, bankers, and things of that nature to this country. And then when they started to process people through this statutory jurisdiction, essentially what's happening is you're being brought back to England, but just not put on a ship. And this is why a lot of the court houses, if you get like an aerial view of most of them, they are in the shape of a ship. All right. So keep that in mind. So again, they can lie in that jurisdiction. They can manipulate the facts. They can simply assume or presume or interpret what they are reading of the law according to their own understanding. And it is the obligation of the so-called defendant to go in there, challenge the jurisdiction or question the jurisdiction, bring the jurisdiction into question, and then articulate on and for the record, the proper jurisdiction and venue. All right. So it's not enough, like a lot of people are doing. They're just going in there challenging the jurisdiction. You have to also articulate the proper jurisdiction. At that point, according to CPLR, the claimant, the one who brings the charges, it is the obligation is now on them to then prove on and for the record that the jurisdiction that they chose is the proper jurisdiction. If you do not articulate the proper jurisdiction, and they, there's no obligation on them to then prove that their jurisdiction is the proper jurisdiction. All right. Now, one last thing. If you do not do that, if you do not, bring the jurisdiction into question or challenge the jurisdiction, for lack of a better term, and you remain silent, then the jurisdiction that they have chosen is considered correct and proper. So you have to challenge it and then articulate the proper jurisdiction. Now the ball is in the court of the prosecution, and they now have to prove their jurisdiction. Let us proceed.
That's Myers versus Morris. The prosecutor may file false charges without doing any investigation. That's George versus Shankland, Ninth Circuit Federal Court of Appeals. I think it's time for all of us to open up our eyes, don't you?